Welcome back, guys, to Blade Travels TV. I'm at Kinver Edge. I'm just going to have a look at the rock houses that I've heard a lot about. So I'll get back to you when I'm there. I'll see you in a bit. Welcome back, guys. What a fascinating place. It's $8.50 to get in unless you're a member of the National Trust or whatever it is. You have a little walk around here, and apparently they actually used to live in these in the 1870s. They have their own allotments and everything. So I'll show you a bit more when I get a bit closer to wherever I'm going. He said this is the scenic route I'm on. At least the sun's come out now. It was chucking it down when I first got it in. But it's nice. Yeah, these are the famous rock houses at Kinver Edge. I'd say they're on the Staffordshire border. I used to come up here years ago. Oh, nice apple tree there, look. I used to come up here years ago when in my 20s. Used to do a lot of rabbiting up here, this area like. But I didn't know these were here until I did a bit of research. So I'll get back to you in a bit. Lovely little orchard there, look. Apple trees, pear trees, couple of benches where you can sit down. Nice. So far so good. I'm actually looking forward to seeing these little houses that are built in the rocks. There's these little allotments. Just grow their own food and everything. Fascinating. More allotments where they grow their own food. Fruit and vegetables, look. It's amazing.
I can tell you a little bit about the history if you'd like to hear it, but it's not compulsory to listen to the guide, and I won't be offended. You say, actually, we'd just like to do it on our own. Okay, if I get boring, feel free to wander off. I know what National Trust guides can be like. We've got a big chunk of sandstone, that's fairly obvious. Sandstone soft, you get caves, and a lot of what you'll see was originally a cave. And when you go into our little spaces, if you look at the ceiling and it looks sort of natural and rounded, it's probably a cave to start off with. And then you look at the walls and realise that what somebody's done is dug it out and taken a pickaxe to it. We don't really know when people started living in this particular outcrop of rock. There's a prehistoric hill fort up the top, great views from up there. So there have been people around for a very long time. We have this name Holy Austin Rock. There may or may not have been a medieval hermit. I tend to be a bit on the doubtful side, but you never know. We really don't know. Somewhere in Kinver though, there were people who'd made their homes in caves 16th, 17th century. We know that. But the first time we hear about this bit is the late 18th century. There's a guy travelling around and he's getting information for his travel book that he's going to write, and he's interested in big houses and smart gardens. And in a storm he ends up here. And along with the descriptions of the big houses and the smart gardens, in his book there is this little passage about how nice the little houses in the rock are. That means they've been here for quite some time, because we've got well beyond somebody crawling into a cave and making the best of it. It gets busiest in the middle of the 19th century, partly because there's lots of work around. There are ironworks in the village, so there's lots of employment for people arriving and needed to make their home somewhere. So over 3 levels, and this is level 1, I thought there were more to come, there were probably 11 or 12 separate little dwellings, 40-45 people. So really quite a community. What we've got on this level here, well, in this group there were probably three green door up there, that when you go through it, you will realise it must have been a very large cave to start off with. But it was eventually divided so that there was a house at the front and a house at the back. The two doors either end are still there, but the division in the middle has gone. So the two houses there, and then this, which is one of our restored cottages. We've got two restored cottages at this level. This is, as it might have been, about 1900. We know that Joe and Sarah Fletcher lived here for much of the late 19th century, had these two rooms, brought up their 4 children in there, and rather wonderfully, about 1900, when they're getting quite elderly, Kinva's already a bit of a tourist attraction. One of the people who comes paints their picture sitting in their front room, and we've got the originals down in the village, but we've got a copy of that that has been used as the basis for the restoration. So 2 rooms about 1900 there. Eventually the whole thing was joined up with one extended family in the early 20th century, and a sort of corridor tunnel was made from what used to be the Fletcher's house into the cave up there, and as I say, the division between the two houses was taken down, and that space became known as the ballroom, and we still call it the ballroom. So 3 houses here. Got another one at the end of this path, which is our other restored cottage. That's as it might have been in the early 1930s. So that's all on this level. When you've finished exploring here, you go up the steps, you'll see a middle level where there's just the remains of what were a couple of dwellings. Up again, more remains, and also what looks like a little row of Victorian cottages. Basically, its frontage is put on double height rock houses. It's where the cafe is, and the loos are up there. The very last person to live on the rock was in one of their rooms, utterly completely dilapidated. Had no services at all, and was considered unfit for anybody to live in. So they were moved out compulsorily. They didn't want to go to a nice council house in Kinver village with all mod cons. That was in the early 1960s, so not really so very long ago. So that's the very short history. Feel free, as I say, to wander around at your own speed. If you've got questions, I'll do my very best to answer them. I also have a colleague in Martindale's, the other cottage around the corner, who will also be delighted to answer questions.
Great, thank you so much.
Okay, enjoy. You head into the 1900 and meet Joe and Sarah.
Oh, wow. Oh, it's amazing. Unbelievable people used to live up here. Look at that. Ruined to restoration. You just wouldn't think it'd be put into a rock, would you, like this?
It's it was fairly common in the
When was the actual first time this was built?
We don't know. We know there were people living here in the 1700s.
In the 1700s?
But yeah, we've got sort of 1750s, 1760s there were people living here.
Yeah.
Yeah, not probably all the rock houses at that point weren't probably built, but there were people living on this site then, and then they lived on this one till this one and Fletcher's end of the 30s.
Yeah.
And the top level, if you get up to the top where the cafe is,
Yeah.
in the terrace, that's 60s.
That late?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Cheers.
Rolling the ball. Yeah. And there, in the same area, was the tea rooms.
Quite big as well.
You know, one thing begot the other. Because the
Look at the
family
space in here.
became necessary. And the Share family had the tea rooms. Big place where people could go, you know, even on a rainy day, they were in the dry. And that, through the fairground, old people still call it the fairground. It's now a residential area and there's a road, but it used to be just a track, and you go through the fair, out the other side of the field and up onto the edge. There used to be a cinema in the village. It was that tough was to go in. And the front rows were just benches. And if you were sitting on one end and everybody else got up, the bench went up in the air.
So you and the family left Helios Rock. Was there any particular reason?
Well, my father got a job as a gardener, which was his love. And he left. And
So as late as the 1960s, people actually lived here. Unbelievable. And you wouldn't think this was in the side of a cliff. Inside of a cliff. This is known as the ballroom, but it used to be two houses. Look at that. Goats for the milk. See, welcome to the ballroom. But it was originally two houses. Used to be a wall in between them. Okay, and a washing look on top, which is where we're going now. So I'll see you in a bit. And at the top you've got a little rock house cafe, an ice cream parlour. Still been built into the side of the rock. Yeah, little seating area there. All little nooks and crannies, look. Inside the actual rocks and caves. Look at that for a view. Wowee. I'm presuming that's the Black Country over there. And that's a view from here. Wow. Amazing. And this is at the top.
Beautiful.
Look at the view.
Yeah, thank you. You can pop them in here if you want.
Alright.
Bye, chocolate. Are you going to stay? Okay.
And this is the top.
Did you get some pictures of chocolate's house?
What an amazing view.
Oh, okay.
This is inside the cafe at the top. Where you can get a nice cup of tea. Or a nice cup of coffee. How cozy is that? Another hidden gem. I think I'm going to have me a well-earned cup of coffee now. What a lovely little place. See you guys in a bit. Look at that. Nice cappuccino. And a rock cake. Because I can. Hi guys. Welcome back to Blade Travels TV. Have me a nice rock cake. At the top of the rock houses. Mmm. Nice. What an amazing place. Oh, it's nice. Catch you guys in a bit. You've got toilets at the top and a beautiful little cafeteria where I've just had a nice cappuccino and a rock cake. You can buy books here as well. And this is at the top of the kinver edge rock houses. So get yourself up here guys, it's a cracking place. And they do a lovely drink and food. This section here is the middle level. And they're doing some restoration on it. But look at the view you've got here. I presume that's the Black Country there. You've even got smoke coming out the chimney here, look. It's amazing. To think people used to live up here. There's a picture, look. A woman inside. A baby carrying straw on top of her head. Absolute fascinating how people used to live all them years ago. Catch you in a bit guys. Plenty of places to sit in it down here as well. It's lovely. Another one off my bucket list. The kinver ledge rock houses. Get yourself here. Fantastic little place. What a cracking day out for the kids. To bring them here and explore the rock houses in kinver edge. It cost me £8.50 to get in because I'm not a member of the English Trust, but it's still worth it to see houses built into the cliffs like that. Unbelievable. I'll catch you in a bit guys. See one there, look, just peeping through the trees. I went in that one. It's fascinating. And on the top, apparently there's the ruins of a hill fort. So what the lady was telling me. Hi guys, welcome back to Blade Travels TV. I'm just going to make myself a cappuccino. Yeah, I've just got back from that kinver. I'll tell you what, it was good. Them houses in the caves, absolutely ridiculous. To know that people lived there as well, amazing. Hang on, I'll just move you over here. There you go. Yeah, it was interesting. I enjoyed it, I did. I know it was £8.50 to get in, like, but it was worth it. Well, I thought it was anyway. I think people lived in there though. Unbelievable. Well, that's my latte finished. I've had cooked sausage rolls for my dinner, and now I'm going to have, well, not yet, a ginster's pasty. I can't be asked to cook nothing today, so I'm not going to. Good thing about it, you can park up by this kinver. There's plenty of spaces, so that's what I've done. But yeah, it was good, very good. I just want to say thank you to all my new subscribers, much appreciated. So if you want to tip the like button, and there's a new button on here. I don't know much about it, but I know if you hype it, you put my channel up. But thank you to all the new subscribers, I really appreciate it. And thanks to my old subscribers, I really appreciate it. I have been doing a few protests in Cannock, but I did my last one last week. I won't be going again. But I noticed Telford have put a lot more flags out, which I'm pleased to see. But they could do with doing a couple of protests in Telford now, to push the councils to shut these hotels, get the immigrants out. But I don't want to keep talking about that. It's a big day tomorrow down in London. So if that don't make a difference, I don't know what will. Anyway, I'm going to have me a nice cuppa and I'll speak to you in a bit, guys. Bye bye for now.